it, and I want to refine my definition of faith just a little bit, or something like that. So you can see that that the conversation has had an impact on them, and they were thinking about it.
Well, I mean, I can't really ask for more. I want them to think just like the theist that came to our little social gathering. One of the questions he asked us, why do atheists have problems with Christians? And I said, honestly, you can believe whatever thing you want to, as long as you don't affect my laws. Whereas instead of taking that tact, you're saying, why is it you believe what you believe, and how do you believe it? And is that a good way to believe? Is that a good way to think? And is that a good way to find the truth?
I think it's fantastic that you're having those talks. I love it when people come up to me again because they've had some time to think about it. They're usually a little further down on the confidence of their belief. Or sometimes they say, Anthony, the main reason that I gave you for this belief, it's really this now. It's not faith so much, it's actually evidence. So you can see that they're moving, they're thinking about it, and that's a great thing.
Absolutely. So is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to get in there?
Oh, man. Just that I think street epistemology is reaching this point. I don't know if you want to call it a tipping point or what, but I feel like we're bumping up against this ceiling, and we're just on the verge of breaking out. I think it's only a matter of time before This American Life or CNN or Vice News or somebody in more mainstream media, I hate to use that word, but somebody in mainstream media to notice this and to see it for what it is and to just be amazed by it, because there's no reason why every person should not be using this approach when talking with people about any topic.
Well, I could totally see that on This American Life. That would be great fun.
Oh, that would be amazing. If anyone out there is familiar with those folks or can help us break through, by all means, please contact me.
And so some of the wrap-up stuff here for the listeners, if you've not read it, I strongly recommend the book by Peter Boghossian. It's called A Manual for Creating Atheists. It's on Amazon for $11.33 on paperback. It's also on Kindle and Audible, which is how I heard it, because I don't generally have time to read a book, so someone else reads it to me. And, of course, Anthony, your YouTube page is, once again, Anthony Magnabosco. Did you say there were some numbers after that?
My YouTube page is just Magnabosco 210. If you just search for my name within YouTube proper, I'm sure you'll find the channel.
Yeah, that's how I find it. Okay. How many videos are there now?
There's several hundred. I haven't looked in a while. Yeah.
Several hundred. So go check that out. And sometimes they're broken up in parts, and sometimes I know you've had people come back.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sometimes I have people that come back, and then I'll throw those in a playlist. Ideally, what I'd really love to be able to capture is find some stranger on the street and have 5 or 6 conversations with them over the course of 6 months and watch the journey. That would just be that's the holy grail of the street epistemology, and we're not quite there yet, but we're very close.
Absolutely. So listeners, go check out the book, go check out the YouTube, and all the resources that Anthony talked about, how you can join and play along and actually go out and make a difference. Because if 20% of the population is nones, N-O-N-E-S, and maybe only half of those are actually non-believers, just imagine if each of us could, in a year or two, go help 1 or 2 people out of religion and more towards rational thought. That would be amazing to me. Great. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And when you become big and famous on one of these big shows you're talking about, don't forget us little people.
It was really a pleasure being with you today.
Hey, thanks. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Phil.
Bye.
You're listening to The Phil Ferguson Show on Secular Media Network.
Well, thank you for coming and visiting and hanging out with us here at the Phil Ferguson Show. And, of course, it's always my pleasure to have you listen to the show. One thing you can do to help me out is, of course, go to iTunes and give, hopefully, a 5-star review. And, of course, you can share the information with your friends. You can share my post. You can go to the Phil Ferguson Show Facebook page and like that so you'll know right away when new shows come up. And, of course, you can subscribe to the podcast through virtually any and every major platform. If you find that the Phil Ferguson Show is not on your favorite platform, let me know, and I'll try to get it there. Here's a couple of reviews that I've seen in just the last few weeks on iTunes. One is from Secular and Plant-Based. Thank you for putting up the comment. It says, entertaining and practical, especially interesting for atheists or skeptical audience. Very nice. Thank you very much for that. And another one by Flip Flanagan. The confluence of investment and atheist topics should result in a podcast. Well worth a listen and subscription. The show is fresh, insightful, fast-paced, and has a unique angle. Oh, Phil is pretty good. Has a pretty good sense of humor, too. Oh, well, thank you, Flip. I really appreciate that. I'm just trying to do my thing, and I'm continually honored by the fact that people like the show. And here's another one by, I don't know what, Quizich Hadrich. He or she will know who they are, I'm sure. Great idea for the show. This guy is out there doing what he is passionate about, and it shows. In addition, he is a genuinely helpful guy. So to all those reviewers and all the ones that have gone before, thank you so much for the reviews. I greatly appreciate it. The show, just a year and a half ago started with a couple hundred listens per episode, and now it's regularly 5,000 per episode. Of course, a few weeks back, we had the child beating stick episode that spread like crazy, and it got over 10,000. So whatever I'm doing that you like, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm honored and delighted that you like the show. Recently, if you're brand new to the show, we had last week was Supreme Court rulings, information on cases that apply to rights and values that particularly appeal to secular Americans. And the week before that was Secular Coalition of America. And a couple of weeks ago, we did a show on Orlando and the tragedy that happened there. And we also talked about the fact that John Oliver's staff or somebody on his staff might be listening to my show. And we've talked about Edward Jones and the cushion. And, of course, before that was How to Beat Your Kids and a little bit about the Ark. And, of course, by the way, by the time you listen to this, I'll probably be on my way to the Ark Adventure Park. So on July 7th, I will be one of many out protesting the grand opening of America's monument to stupidity, the Ark Encounter Park in Kentucky, with potentially $18 million or more in funding from the government. That's right, the government is paying for an Ark. So we're very excited about that, and I'll have an update for you about how that goes next week. And until then, I hope to see you at some kind of convention, and if you do see me, please feel free to say hello. I always appreciate listeners coming up and talking to me. But until then, ciao